European leaders have reaffirmed their support for Ukraine and are accusing Russia of delaying its response to the US-led ceasefire proposal. Vladimir Putin is demanding an end to certain embargos as part of the ceasefire underway in the Black Sea. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and the Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky are emphasising that it's not the time to lift sanctions on Moscow.
It's over a week since Putin agreed to an energy and infrastructure ceasefire. But since then, Russia has hit energy infrastructure in cities across Ukraine. We agreed here in Paris today that it's clear the Russians are filibustering. They are playing games and they're playing for time. It is a classic from the Putin playbook.
We really want it very much that the President of the United States, with regard to the owner of the Kremlin, is stronger, and that's important for us.
Well, Adam Parsons has more now from those meetings in Paris.
This was, in a way, a kind of show of strength, attempting to show unity among European powers, talking a good game, saying they're going to set a deadline. But actually, you take a step back, has much changed today from yesterday? And if it has, we're not being told about it. What we do know is that there is what Keir Starmer says is a great degree of unity. He talked about Europe being more united than it has been for decades. But I asked him during that press conference about the words of senior members of the US administration, referring to European leaders as pathetic freeloaders, and asked him whether he could really rely on the Americans to craft a ceasefire deal that would work for Europe, would work for Ukraine. And frankly, he dodged that question. And that is what has been hanging over all of these talks, is that in this rapidly changing geopolitical world, the Europeans are pretty much where they were, trying to get in behind Ukraine, trying to push for a diplomatic solution, but also a military solution. And yet around them is this disconcerting vision of America and Russia becoming closer, these negotiations that don't include European voices. That worries a lot of diplomats. They want to be seen now as united and offering their own response, but what that response actually looks like is still very vague.
And as for President Putin, he has just spoken on geopolitical rivalries, saying tension may be rising in the Arctic, but a partnership between Russia and the West is possible.
As to Greenland, I think this is an issue that concerns two states and has nothing to do with us. However, we are concerned with the fact that the NATO countries increasingly identify the far north as a foothold for possible conflicts. Let me stress, Russia has never threatened anybody in the Arctic, but we are watching very closely the recent developments.